Now, the second aspect of it is actually dealing with yourself. Now, how do you deal with yourself in the face of untruth, in the face of shame? The first one is that always do the direct opposite of the message of shame. For example, shame asks you to hide, come out. That's number one. Shame asks you to deny, own up. Shame asks you to defend yourself. Don't, because it's not yourself you are defending. It is the personality, the false personality, the enemy of your being that you are defending when shame shows up. So don't defend that personality, expose that personality, throw that personality under the moving tray. And when you are able to do this, it is difficult to do. It is excruciating to even think about it. But when you do it, the plus is unbelievable. You will feel a sense of relief. And you might just be surprised. You will acquire the respect of the people. You become bigger than those who were supposed to have been your judge. But if you keep denying and telling lies, what's going to happen? Find out there will be a split. There will be a faction who believe that you did it, and they will be looking at you even smaller than they ever saw you before. So the things you are trying to defend no longer works. And there's another party who they are not sure you did it, they are not sure you did not do it, they just be looking at you. And then you might have defenders who know you did it, but they are defending you because they love you. It's another one. But the thing is this: none of these parties are worth creating in that way. Be yourself is the word. Now, a person that is always ashamed, I tell you this, when we are ashamed, simply means that we have never been ourselves. We have become other people. Let me put it this way. A lot of the times, we see certain people that we value, who have higher standards of life, and we wish we were like they are. And we want to be like them. We start typing our lives after them. In the process, we lose our identity. We lose our person. Our person is at the background, while we create a false personality that types with the picture that we have formed of these people. Don't forget, all the great things you see in other people are actually great things in you, seeking to be expressed. The same way that all the evil things that you see in other people are the evil things in you, seeking to be expunged, to be thrown out. So, judgment of others is actually judgment of yourself. So, all these people you are taking, lifting, and placing on the pedestal above yourself are actually your future self. You don't know it. So, who would you rather hide from? Your future self or the world? Okay, so the thing is, be real to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Expose yourself to yourself. And this is it. People who suffer shame can hardly stand in front of the mirror and express themselves. Let me tell you one bad thing about shame, why I thought I should be discussing it with us today. Of all the negativities of life, shame is perhaps the most devastating of all. Shame is the root behind a majority of the evils that happen in society. Shame. That is to prevent shame or to cover up shame. A lot of great people, good people, nice people have committed mayhem. They have done evil just out of shame, just to cover up shame. And this is one thing about shame. If you ever felt shame, it means you are false to yourself. And if you are feeling shame at any time, know that at that point of shame, you are your worst enemy. And when I talked about you in this context, I'm not referring to you, the real you. I'm referring to the personality you have assumed as you. That is your enemy at play. A real human being does not feel shame. Why doesn't a real human being feel shame? Because they have owned up to themselves who they are. There is nothing about themselves they have not faced squarely in the eye. And they had to kill the false personality over time. And so they are actually living without valences. Or if I thought there are valences in them, those valences are subjugated, suppressed. So that is who they are. The second thing is that they have high self-esteem. People with low self-esteem experience shame. They have high self-esteem, if at all they err, because they always review their lives every night before they go to bed. They review their life, they see where they have erred. When they are confronted with these things, they are asking themselves, if I have shown it to myself, so who is the other person that I shouldn't show it to? Because I live with myself every day. It is with myself that I live with the consequences of whatever happens to me. Therefore, if I can own my shit to myself, why can't I own it to another person? So when they are shown what they have done wrong, they accept it because it is part of their growing process. And it even helps them to become stronger. Some people have said in the mystical field that before growth comes shame. What does that mean? Simply means that your traits, because when you want to grow, you are praying for growth. What it simply means is that you are asking for the false personalities that have been usurping your place to be removed. Therefore, life will expose these personalities to you, but when you refuse to deal with the personality, because life loves you and it wants to answer your prayers, it will expose you to the world, and let's see what you will do about it. That's why you see most people, they experience really intense shame, public disgrace, and then they move up. If they do not solve it, if they do not deal with it the right way, they remain where they are or even go lower. But when they deal with it the right way, they grow. Some people just don't say anything when such a disgrace happens, when such exposures are made. They just keep mute. Others come out and apologize and they own up. Others deny it till they die. It is part of what life is. But own your shades. Own it. Own your shades and move on with it. It is very key. The problem with shame is that in an attempt to defend the false personality that we have evolved over time because of our attempt to please people, to be like other people, we have often had people who became psychotic cases, who became psychiatric management effects. So that at the end of the day, their real person, the soul, is suppressed, and that false personality that has been denied of nourishment begins to go crazy for nourishment. And in the process, people end up mad just because of that. A lot of the times, when a human being is so attached to another human being, as in relationship, as in just love. There are people who are so-called in love with other people without any sexual interest in the matter. They just want these people's approval. They just want these people to be nice to them. They want these people to see them as something. They have them, they have their images, they have their pictures, all kinds of things about these people around themselves. They look at themselves, but what they see is not themselves, but those people. Each time they are not able to measure up with those people, the image of themselves that they see is contemptible. They hate it. There are people who, in this same society, they are so attached to certain kinds of people, they even move around with them. And these people that they are moving around with, that they admire, they are taking as their God, actually insult them, dehumanize them. They see it as normal. They welcome it. You know, it's like they are masochists. They just take pleasure in these particular people, debasing them and dehumanizing them. If anybody else tries to do 100 of these things to them, they will go mad. These are slaves, okay, of other people. And what is exactly that thing that they are benefiting from these people? Maybe some pittance, some crumbs on their table. Or maybe just a good opinion. That's all. And they can sacrifice every other thing. They have sacrificed themselves. So why can't they sacrifice other things for this situation? Some people are so sick with the approval of these people that they see as their model, as their paragon, as their gods, that they cannot stand the possibility, the remote possibility that these people are going to dump them. They can't stand it. And so what they do is that they are rather willing to accept the physical death of these people than for these people to leave them. You have seen it in marriages, it has happened. People are so clung to a particular relationship or dating. They are so clung to a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a spouse, that when they notice that they can no longer keep this spouse, maybe this spouse is loving someone else or it's about leaving them, they end up killing this spouse because that way they can live with themselves. And they will now deify this person and say, okay, you know what? This person loved me till they died. It's a level of psychiatric depreciation. And it happens. You don't want to be like that because you don't know how you graduate to that level. So, deal with your shame. It is not worth feeding. It is a monster, a deadly monstrosity in the midst of humanity. The power to deal with your shame is your consciousness. Remember that I always say that consciousness is the only weapon we have against negativity. Stay conscious all the time. Be aware of how you feel. Be aware of how you think. Be aware of the thought roiling and broiling within you, and face them without engaging them. You engage yourself. Don't engage the thought, because when you engage the thought, you give them energy. I still believe in you. I know you are very, very powerful, more powerful than you have ever imagined. If you use a tenth of your power, you'll be known as a superhuman. Thank you.